I deserve better. From
What's up? It's your boy A to the L to the A to the N. I'm Alan.
And my name is Nicole.
And welcome to the House of Love podcast.
House of Love is a relationship podcast where real talk meets real solutions. This podcast dives deep into love, connection, and everything in between. Each episode, we tackle honest conversations about dating, marriage, love, conflict, intimacy, and more.
So whether you're single, committed, in a relationship, or somewhere in between, House of Love offers wisdom, laughter, and some candid conversations about the everyday topics hot off the press. Because in the end, love wins.
Okay, so in today's episode, we are talking about something that I think is really big in relationships, and it's respecting your partner. We're going to dive into what that looks like, what does that mean, and more.
RESPECT, find out what it means to me. RESPECT, take care, TCP, sock it to me, sock it to me. Respecting your partner, that is one of the most important characteristics, traits, and sign of respect and love that you can show to your partner whom you decided to commit to. So today we want to explore kind of why respecting your partner is the cornerstone of love, relationships, and potential marriage while you're in a relationship. And also the longevity of the relationship, how it plays a vital role in you continuing to grow with each other as a unit and not separate. One of the pillars in respecting your partner is one of, I think, a key foundation principle, or one of the foundation topics, if you will, when it comes to respecting your partner, and that's communication. So being able to communicate your feelings, your emotional needs, your desires versus, someone reading your mind, displaying active listening skills as your partner is giving you feedback or addressing an issue, and then ultimately being able to summarize, process, and then respond back in a way that is healthy.
Yeah, and I know communication is key, right? We hear that a lot, and it's true. Communication is key in a relationship to the success of the relationship, but it is definitely a form of respect. And I think oftentimes where a lot of relationships go left or go wrong is when it is not a safe space to communicate, in instances like the other person is doing other things or doing things outside of the household or outside of the relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be cheating, but maybe, and they don't have a safe space at home to communicate that. It could even be, we were just talking about this recently, like if somebody were to change their job in the relationship or something like that, but you don't feel comfortable communicating what you're doing, like how you're moving to that person that you're dating.
Well, sometimes in the communication, I don't know how to outwardly express how I'm making moves or moving the chess pieces behind the scene until it's done. And then maybe I invite you into the conversation, or, hey, babe, this is what I got going on. Here's the move that I would like to make for the family. What do you think about this opportunity? What do you think about this offer?
And I understand that, and I respect the fact that you're doing things you feel like is behind the scenes first, so you can kind of put things into play before bringing it to your partner. But I think some men don't do it with that thinking per se. Some men do it because they're like, I don't want to hear her mouth. I don't want to hear what she got to say, because women tend to come off as having a lot to say, right? And sometimes men just don't want to hear it. Like, I've been in relationships where men are like that. They're like, I don't want to hear all this. Like, so I think that can deter, like, how you come off and how you communicate can deter your partner and make them not want to communicate certain things to you because of the energy that you normally give off. So if something new comes up, the man may not want to be like, oh, babe, this happened today, or I want to do this, or I'm thinking about this, because they're like, oh, nah, she going to give me all this energy that, yeah. So I'm just not going to tell her.
Right. And I think that's important as well. But I think that comes with understanding your partner's communication styles as well. We'll feature that episode in a future upcoming episode about communication styles, because one of the things about understanding your partner, one of the things, at least for me, I find as a intimacy pillar or principle, if you will, is understanding how your partner prefers to be communicated with, right? Not everybody can digest somebody snapping at them. Not everybody can digest somebody yelling at them. Not everybody can digest somebody talking soft to them, right? I need a man. right?
Not everybody can digest you shutting down.
Facts. And when you shut down, were you displaying active listening skills? Probably not.
Well, that's not necessarily true. If you shut down, you could be actively listening, but that means that you don't want to join the conversation. You don't want to express how you're feeling for whatever reason, or you don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, but I've been in situations where my partner is shut down, and me being as clever as I am, I've had to go full Chris Tucker mode. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
So are you saying shut down or completely ignore you?
I think it's a combination of both, right? Nobody likes to be ignored.
Because going back to respect, okay, there's a difference. I feel like, since I've been in situations too, there's a difference between shutting down and being disrespectful. So I've been in a relationship with a man that's like, I'm talking to you, let me know that you're listening. Like, don't ignore me, right? So if a man is expressing himself or even angry at you, whatever, just having something to say, and then I don't say anything, or if he maybe asks me a question in the conversation, like, do you understand what I'm talking about, or whatever, and I don't say anything, it's like a sign of disrespect to some men. So it's like, there's a difference between shutting down and disrespect, because shutting down could mean I don't want to talk right now, right. and I've communicated that to you, and I need some space, so I'm shutting down. Versus you still trying to have a conversation with me when I need my shutdown.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think there is some level of stubbornness in both male and female when it comes to that. But I think from a solution standpoint, understanding where your partner falls within the spectrum of communication styles will ultimately help achieve that goal and reduce the conflict when it comes to either snapping at each other, snapping on each other, or just trying to resolve an everyday common issue.
Yeah, and I think that comes with paying attention to your significant other, because a lot of times, especially Black people, we don't really know what communication style is. We don't really know about a situation until it comes up, right? I don't know how I'm going to handle this type of situation if I've never been through it. Right. So I think it's about paying attention to your significant other and how they handle different things over time, so you can learn them and learn each other's communication style or how they handle situations, so you can be prepared for times like that.
And I think once you understand your partner's communication style, you're doing one of the ultimate signs of respect that you could give your partner, and that's validating their feelings, right? You let them know that you've been heard. You are doing something differently next time conflict arises. You're also showing empathy because you're putting yourself in the other person's shoes as if you were receiving a message. How can they easily digest it so that, one, it makes sense, two, they can actively work on it, and three, it'll cause fewer issues in the future.
Yeah, I think this was a good point to call out in today's episode, because at the end of the day, if you want respect and you want to receive it, then you have to give it. And I think just making sure that you pay attention to the communication styles within your relationship is a key to not having your relationship fail for the lack of respect due to communication.
Absolutely.
Ooh, the next topic is respecting boundaries and individuality in a relationship.
Oh, let's go. So talk to me a little bit more about respecting boundaries as individuals in the relationship.
Yeah,
that's a mouthful.
And the thing is, a lot of adults dating right now, they don't think about these type of things. They don't have the conversations about these things. Having boundaries and maintaining your individuality in a relationship is so important, because it gives you the space to still be yourself while in a relationship. And I think one, it's just healthy to have boundaries, to be like, this is what works for me. Can you respect that? Or this is how I operate. I need you to respect that.
But I think we're taking them too far.
What?
Can we elaborate a little bit more about boundaries while in a relationship? What exactly are boundaries, right? So I think when we talk about boundaries, fellas, when it comes to the sports analogy, what's in bounds versus what's out of bounds. Those things that are boundary lines for you as an individual, boundary lines for your girlfriend, partner, wife, what have you, it's important for you to understand those, because once you get to that limit, if you go over that limit, there's a penalty that you have to pay, right? The consequence could be negative, could be positive. It could result in an unwanted argument. It could result in some type of negative backlash, or she's ignoring you around the house, or she disappeared for a couple of days. You don't want that. So I make sure that you understand what those boundaries are. And us as individuals, we're going to have the propensity to test those boundaries because we want to see how far we can poke the bear. But understanding what's in bounds, what's out of bounds, and when your partner needs a timeout is another form and sign of respect as well.
I mean, I think that's the same thing I was saying. It's like knowing what the boundaries are, right? And making sure that, I think that honestly, when you're first starting out with dating somebody, I think this is a big question to ask up front or to learn up front. It's like, what are your boundaries?
When you're dating intentionally.
Yes, exactly. But that's what we're here for, to help
Absolutely.
you date intentionally. Because like I've said in other episodes, a lot of women, especially when they get in their late 20s, 30s, like they're ready to settle down. They are ready to find their husband, but they don't quite know how, or they're doing things the wrong way to get there.
Right.
So you definitely have to go into it with intention, and you have to move as if you are intentionally dating for something serious.
Yeah, and I think, being purposeful, right? Even if we reference the Bible with Ruth and the work that she did to find Boaz, I think that's important. Go read the book of Ruth once you get a chance if you hadn't already. Or check out the new movie featuring Soraya and Devon Franklin. That's a good reference as well. But you cannot move the same thing for fellas as well. You cannot move the same in the dating market, in the relationship realm in your 30s as you did in your 20s. That's cool if you wanted to spend your 20s hot girl in summer and it up, or if you want to spend your 20s being flued out and enjoying yourself and being on yachts and doing different activities. Or for the fellas, if you want to spend your 20s and early 30s being a bachelor, right? That's cool. But when you get to the point where you're like, hey, I've had my fun, I've experienced life as an individual, now it's time for me to couple up, be fruitful and multiply with somebody that I see as a true partner in life, right? Somebody that's going to always be there. Somebody's going to be there when my emotional needs need to be uplifted or to be help regulated.
Yeah, but I think, we talk about love, marriage, in between, wherever you are, right? So I think it's important to call out, say you're just casually dating, right? And people are, and that's okay. If you're not dating for marriage, that's okay. But say you're casually dating and y'all are just having casual sex, right? Y'all not thinking about having going that far as marriage or whatever like that. But I think it's still important to understand, if you're going to be spending a lot of time with each other, even if it's just in the bedroom, I think it's important to understand boundaries at least, because think about it, like you're putting yourself at risk to potentially have a baby with this person if you're casually having sex with them. Like,
right.
And that's, I think that's where a lot of people go wrong sometimes, where they just having fun and somebody gets pregnant and then it's a baby involved and then y'all just hate each other's guts and it's toxic for the kids. But I think it's important to, even if you're going to casually date, to kind of implement some of these things with that person that you're just casually dating. Like if y'all are giving y'all bodies to each other, y'all should have a certain level of like respect. You know what I'm saying?
There should be a certain level of respect, right? Because I think
it doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Because I think if you're casually dating, more likely than not, there's some type of transactional dating that's happening. So it's okay to put limits, spending limits, right? As we talked about with your love account, it's okay to put limits on, hey, once a week or once a month or, whatever the case may be. You all discuss what that looks like between the two of you, but understand in case of emergency, what's the next steps, right? So you need to be able to discuss those as well as mature adults. Then also too, I think it's important to support your partner, even though y'all are in a relationship. Support your partner's level of independence while in the relationship, right? A lot of times, guys, we go hard. I speak from a male perspective. We go hard in the paint, and sometimes we lose sight of what's important and taking care of ourselves, right? We may be trying to please the woman. In some instances, if you're casually dating, you might be trying to please or support, a couple on your roster, right? And that's draining away from your emotional, your physical. You may be working 2 jobs, trying to make sure that you have enough money to keep your relationship afloat and to keep everybody around you afloat, right? But it's important to embrace your individualism in a relationship as well. The things that you like to do before you got in a relationship, you need to be upfront, honest, and candid about what you like to do while in that relationship. If it's playing the video game, if it's going to shoot pool, if it's going to play basketball, if it's going to the gym, 3, 4, or 5 days a week. If it's, you like to spend 2 hours a week just in solitude and reading the Bible, or you like to, take a trip once every quarter, whatever that is, you need to ensure that your partner knows what those needs are, because they're going to help support your emotional well-being, your physical well-being, and keep the relationship, in my opinion, keep the relationship fresh, because you're not feeling like somebody is trying to change you.
Agree. And I think for women, it's especially important for us because we go through so much as women just with our hormones. And when we feel like we lost ourselves, that's when you have those stories like, oh, the one they've been married for 30 years and she wake up one day and like, oh, I deserve better. That comes from us losing ourselves. This is don't do that, because it's a real thing, because we as women tend to make sure the household is good. We take care of the kids. We giving birth, you know what I'm saying? And that's postpartum and all that is a whole different ball game. It's like there's so much we deal with emotionally and carrying so much emotional weight that we do easily lose ourselves. The things we were doing before we got into it, before we had a baby, we stopped doing because so much other things on our plate. So I think trying to have those boundaries for ourselves, and then having a partner who supports it, to even encourage, be like, babe, like, after you have the baby, you used to go to yoga every Sunday, like try to get back into it. I got the baby, like just supporting that.
That's right.
Supporting those individual things and keeping your partner afloat. Like, babe, you used to go to Bible study every week. Don't let me, just because I called you, don't let me distract you, so supporting each other is key, so that months down the road, years down the road, the other person's not feeling like they're having a reality check, like, damn, I lost myself, I don't like this, I want out.
That's real. So the next topic we would like to discuss: conflict without disrespect. And I think that's a good one, right? Yeah, I think
this one kind of hit home.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that sometimes people, when we talk about boundaries, some people can hit below the belt, out of bounds with some of the disrespect during conflict. Navigating through disagreements and arguments, right? Sometimes they can be difficult because you're emotionally charged. So what are some solutions or some of the things that may have worked for you in the past that have helped you kind of calm down to negate some of the disrespect that you want to spew out, or the venom that you want to spew out during conflict in a relationship?
Well, personally, I don't get there. It's very hard in a relationship for me to get out of character. I'm so serious. I've been on the other end where I'm dealing with somebody who doesn't know how to control their emotions, I've dealt with some of the most spiteful men that will say, like, literally try to intentionally in an argument, try to hurt you to the core. So to make you feel the way you made them feel, whatever. But personally, I think it's important to just maintain your composure, period. And that's what I do. So
I think for fellas, that's important as well. Make sure to maintain your composure, because regardless of how you feel, once you say it, you can't take it back.
You
right?
cannot. Ain't no sorry.
Sorry is a sorry word. That's for sure.
Sorry is gonna go in one ear and come out the other, because I'm not gonna hear it.
Yeah, and I think I've had situations where my male friends have called a woman out of their name, and I said, how would you feel, number one, if you were that woman? Number two, if another man said that to your mom?
Right.
And number three, if a boy random in the street, at school, or whatever, said that to your daughter? You have to be able to show empathy in our emotionally charged state. Sometimes you got to take a deep breath, step back, and think about your thoughts before they become words and your words become actions, because those are the things that can get us in trouble and cause conflict, where we start going our separate ways in a relationship. Yeah. Oh, your mouth is too disrespectful.
Yeah. Women can take that same exact advice, because while I'm not the confrontational person at all, I am not. You gotta really get me there, and nobody has ever gotten me there to that point. But I know a lot of women do, and a lot of women like to be toxic. They get off of yelling in your face, putting their finger in your face, like they get off of that, and it's very disrespectful. And so I would just say to the women who get like that, like, 9 times out of 10, there's something within you that you need to deal with for you to be getting that amped up. And then 2, take that same advice, just give yourself a breath and calm down, because it's not worth it. A lot of times women do that when like the man is doing them wrong or cheating on them, I'll say. You just giving this man all this energy and nothing's going to change from it. So just you're overexerting yourself. So just calm down, take a breath, and like don't waste your energy. You come back to it when you're calm.
Yeah, and I think, I've been called everything but a child of God during emotionally charged conflict. But for me, I've never been the one to spew it back. I usually laugh, and that's what get them irritated even more. I'll be like, "You talking to me?"
Oh, I would definitely get irritated.
Like, it's funny. Like, there's nothing that nobody can say about me that's gonna make me react a certain type of way, because I don't give them that time of day or that energy. I think that's an acquired skill, right? And shout out to my grandma. She always said, whether you're doing things 100% right or whether you're doing things 50% wrong, people are still going to find something to say about you. So you might as well live your life for you and don't let words control you, because once they know that they got you with their words, they know they have a form of control over you. So don't become that person, right? For me, when I've been called that, usually I exit stage left. Usually I might bite back with a punch below the belt as far as with my words, but it's never on a disrespect level. It's just to check you. And once I check you, I have to then evaluate, can I go further in this relationship? Because now that's stored in my long-term memory. People will always forgive, but they'll never forget. And I think that's a principle of a good person. I can forgive you, but I'm not going to forget what you said.
A lot of people are not good people. But that's the thing. When you definitely have to be intentionally dating out here. You definitely have to be getting to know who you're dealing with. I don't care if it's just sex, whatever. You really need to understand that, because so many people are dealing with stuff within themselves and they will instantly project it onto you. And so I think when you have that kind of toxic energy, don't know how to calm down, getting real nasty and disrespectful when y'all are arguing, that person needs to do self-work. And personally, if that's something that happens with a new guy I'm dating, we're not going any further, because unless you do the work, like come back to me once you do the work on yourself, because it's just going to get worse over time.
But do you want somebody to spin the block after they've done the work? Yeah, there's no way for you to validate that.
Wait, ask that again?
Do you really want somebody to come back after they've done the work? It's not really any way for you to validate that they've done the work.
Well, that's true. And they can come back and say they did the work, and then a month later, boom, back to the same.
But let's go back to boundaries, right? After they've shown you who they are the first time, believe them and move on. Okay,
that's fair. That's real. I mean, sometimes second chances,
and sometimes that's
work
where you,
out.
and sometimes that's where you. That's sometimes that's where you women, but it wasn't.
We gotta do episode spin the block. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't a negative. They decided to go their separate ways.
We don't know
right?
what it was,
but can be an ugly situation, right? And I think some people have that, to your point, level of toxicity that they thrive on.
Yeah.
But is that sustainable? Anything toxic has never been sustainable in the history of histories, right? So you have to be mindful of, if people show you who they are, believe them.
Yeah. Moral of the story: be respectful when you're communicating. Like, every conversation is not going to be agreed upon between both parties. So when there's a disagreement, you have to make sure that you give that other person the same level of respect that you would want in return.
Absolutely.
So the last thing we want to talk about in this episode is showing respect, not just with words, but with your actions.
Ooh, that's a good one. Because I always say, and you heard me say this when we put scripts together, love is an action, right? Because feelings and emotions change. So if somebody is demonstrating and the demonstration matches what they typically say, that's a sign of respect, number one. That's also a sign of appreciation, number two. And that's also, number three, going to keep you on a positive trajectory by making sure that they're not just giving you word salad or manipulating you with words just to keep you around.
Manipulation, that just struck a chord, because they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Period. So they're going to say whatever is going to sound good, is going to, make you feel good. But at the end of the day, if their actions are the opposite, if they're not adding up, then the actions, hold more weight.
While in a relationship, could you give or provide to people with 3 actions, and I'll do the same, but 3 actions that you go crazy over or that you like to see while in a relationship?
When it comes to respect or just in general?
Just in general.
I think for me, action-wise, is one, showing that you pay attention to me, right? A lot of women, I know sometimes I'm guilty of it too. Like, we like to talk and like let our feelings out, pretty much vent, right? And so if you show me that you actually listen to me, like maybe you heard me stressed out one day over something, and then you come back later and you maybe did something for me to show that you know, want to help me get through that tough situation. Like, things like that is definitely something that will make me go like crazy, or like, oh, he loves me, you know, he listens to me, he is doing something to kind of remedy whatever I expressed I'm going through. So I would say that, and you know, just being attentive. You know, being attentive is a big thing, because you don't have to tell me anything. You're actually doing it. You're giving me that energy without me saying, oh, stop looking at your phone while we're on a date, or you know, you're just the actions, right? And I think those are probably top 2.
One more. I said
3. 3? I gotta do 3?
Yes.
So listening to me,
we gotta
being
give tips
attentive.
we gotta give tips to the people.
Make sure you're listening to your woman. Make sure you're attentive. And I think the last one I would say, maybe helping me out. Like, and I'm not just saying give me money or, you know.
I was about to say, don't save them. You learned that in the last episode.
I'm not saying you have to drop a bag, so I'm not necessarily saying that. But if you want to, you know, yeah. But if I am, especially, you know, we're newly dating or something like that, I'm a single woman. If you know I'm frustrated about taking the trash out, come to my house and take the trash out. Or, you know, just little small things. It doesn't have to be anything that's expensive. But if you know you can lighten my load a little bit, then come lighten my load, and that would make me happy.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say, at least for me and some of the fellas that I talk to, shout out to my guy JB. He always gives good advice, and we talk on a regular basis. But I would say definitely listening to your man, right? A lot of times we don't say stuff to be controlling. We say stuff because we see it coming, or we see the train coming down the tracks and you standing on the tracks. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we want to make sure that you out of harm's way. So I think that goes with protection. I think making sure that you understand where we're coming from. So number one, listening to your man. Number 2, understanding where we're coming from, right? It may be a childhood trauma. It may be something that we dealt with growing up that we struggle with. It may be something that we're actively working through. It may be a trauma point that we had in a previous relationship that is something you do that may trigger us. But understand, you know, don't just reprimand, don't just walk away, don't just get mad and snap back. Understand. And then I would say the last one would be present yourself in a way that is, number 1, always feminine, always full of energy and full of life, because that helps encourage us and inspire us to go out and conquer the world. So positive affirmations. Hey, I like when you wear that. That looks good on you. Add that watch to it. Or, hey, babe, I know you don't like me touching your stuff, but I kind of rearranged your game room a little bit. Hope you like it. Those type of things, those soft feminine things, right? Because no matter what, we're always going to choose somebody similar to our mothers, right? We like that softness. That's why it's mama's boys, right? So we like that softness in a woman. So that's why women should be a part of the FBI. Feminine, beautiful. You always do that every time I say that.
Because you know we detectives.
That too. But feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. That's what we want, right? You all expect from us CIA men. Confident, intelligent, and assertive. So being an FBI agent in a household, not from a detective standpoint, but feminine, beautiful, and inspiration, helps us feel like there's no stopping us when we go out to try to conquer the world.
I like that. At the end of the day, you have to respect your partner and not only say, but do.
Do, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And I think if you find yourself in a predicament where you don't know what to do, just ask. Don't guess. Don't guess about motives. Don't guess what he's thinking.
Yeah, don't assume.
Don't assume. The one thing from a fella's standpoint that we can't stand to hear is, you know what you did. You know what I'm thinking. What am I thinking?
As a female, I've gotten that too. I don't know what the hell you thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
Won't you tell me?
Yeah. So be grown about it. Be respectful about it, and communicate effectively so that the other person receiving the message can actually do something about it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But today was a great episode.
Yeah, I think we helped some people today. Let us know in the comment section if you resonated with anything we said, or if you feel like we helped you just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you're stopping through, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, and then make sure to share this content. Again, we're building a community, a community of love over here in the House of Love. So definitely we want to thank you for your time, your attention, and if there's any other topics that you would like to discuss, again, hit us up and let us know in the comments what those topics should be. But remember, regardless of what you go through, what you deal with, respecting your partner, showing respect with actions, communicating is showing respect, and making sure that you understand what boundaries are important to a thriving and healthy relationship.
Because if you don't show your partner respect, somebody else will.
Boom. Because in the end, love wins.